Hi boys and girls, Mr. McVeigh here again with another book talk to present to you. Today we're going to talk about books that are in the survival genre, and let's go ahead and jump right in. The first book on our list is My Side of the Mountain by Jane Craighead George. So if you're looking for this book, you got to look it up in Fic, G-E-O, Fiction for George. This is about a young guy named Sam Gribley. He lives in New York City and decides to move away. He wants to try living out in the wild for a year, and it actually takes place in the Catskill Mountains, which, if you know your New York State geography, you know is not too far away from us. So a really exciting book and fast-paced. It focuses on the character and seeing things from his perspective, and it's a good read. You're going to love it. The next one up on our list is Julie of the Wolves. And I specifically chose this one because there are a lot of adventure and survival books that have a male character, but this is one of the few that have a female character. So if you fall in love with this type of literature, I would love to see some more authors who put out books with female lead characters. This is about a young girl. She's only 13 years old, and she has to run away from an unwanted marriage. Imagine what her life must be like. And you can read more about her in this book, Julie of the Wolves. The next book is called Far North. It's by Will Hobbs. And just as a heads up, these are all in the fiction section, so they'd all be under F-I-C and then the author's last name, H-O-B. This is about a person who's stranded in the Northwest Territories of Canada, which can be very barren, and just as a teenager, this guy, Gabe, he's only 15 years old. He has to find a way to survive, and eventually he's got to figure out a way to get back to where he belongs. And it's an exciting story. The story is fast-paced. It focuses on a couple of characters, but there are a couple of different storylines going on. So there's a little bit more to pay attention to, and if you like multiple stories happening, you're going to like this one. And our next story is a classic. It's called Hatchet by Gary Paulson, and this is one that I read not too long ago. If you know about me, I wasn't able to read many stories as a child, so I am reading a lot of the same stories that you all are reading now, and I'm learning more about them every day. And this is a really interesting one. The beginning of this book is just really exciting, and you're going to be kind of like nervous and a little bit tense. And there's a lot of drama and suspense in the beginning of this book. And then you kind of live with this guy as he's trying to survive in the wilderness after his plane crashes. And the pilot, who's in the plane with him, you're not going to believe what happens to the pilot. It's pretty freaky. The next book on our list is Island of the Blue Dolphins, and this is a classic. It's an award-winning book. It's by Scott Odell, and this is another one that has a female character as the lead, so I was really excited to find this one. And this is about a girl. She ends up all alone on this island in a really tragic way, and she is basically learning how to survive and what it means to be all alone, and how she kind of copes with that loneliness. And at the same time, it's not just about loneliness or relationships, but it's also adventurous, and the things that she does and the ways that she finds herself surviving and just doing things that in her culture girls had never done before. But because she's all alone, she's the only one who can take care of her. And so there's a lot of progress for her as she grows as a person. It's a neat story. The last book on our book talk is called A Long Walk to Water, and it's by Linda Sue Park. And this one is really interesting. I haven't read this one personally, but I've read some reviews. And it takes place, it starts in Sudan when there's a lot of civil war and unrest in that country. And it's about an 11-year-old who basically has to find his way out of this country, and ends up in a couple of refugee camps in Ethiopia and then Kenya. And you may have already met this author or this character because this person was eventually adopted by a family in Rochester. So it has a really cool connection to our city. And I think it's one that you're really going to enjoy, and it's based on true story. So that will be awesome. So these are the books that I'm featuring on this survival genre, and I hope that you enjoy them. There are many, many more. Remember, if you want to find other ones that I didn't talk about in the library catalog, just search survival, or you might even search adventure in the catalog and click on keyword or subject in order to get your results. And I think you're going to find some really great books out there. And remember, I'm always here to help you find ones that you're going to like too. Okay, I'll talk to you all soon.